Hello,
Hello, hello. Yeah, welcome in. Sorry, guys, we had a few technical challenges, and I think we're in Mercury retrograde, so this is probably to be expected. So, welcome in from wherever you are around the world. We had to come back out and come back in, and we have a couple of more who are going to join us. So, Dawn and I are with you at the moment, and we will have Wendy and Ron joining, and Morgan in the chat. So, if you are new to the channel, we welcome you. We are Lighthouse Tapestry. Ron, we just went ahead and went live. So welcome into Ron.
Okay.
Thanks for
Glad
being
to see
here.
everybody.
Yeah. And so great to see everyone joining the chat. And we apologize for having a few glitches. And so we welcome everyone. And we just had a few announcements. And as you are joining, if you are interested tonight in a card pull, we will be glad to pull a card for you. So if you can put a heart in the chat, we will see how many we can get to this evening. We have launched a new website called lighthousetapestry.com, and that went live about a week ago or so. Yeah, week or so ago. And so we are taking individual appointments. We are teaching classes. There's lots of information on the website about how to access our services. And we do everything from spiritual coaching to tarot to mediumship to astrology, akashic records. So we would love to have you book a service with someone and join one of our classes. So we are doing this to build this beautiful spiritual community of souls. And as we've stated before with Ron and his runes, we are spiritual warriors, and we are delighted to be with you. So a couple of more announcements. There will be a new moon ritual, and that is going to be Thursday, the 20th of November at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we will send out a link for that, and it's going to be a really powerful new moon, as Dawn has indicated. So we hope that you will be able to join us to set your intentions for what you want to manifest. Okay, we're still waiting for Wendy, but we'll go ahead and we're going to start by what?
I think you need to put your clearing thing up.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to take a moment, everyone, and welcome everyone in and let us know how you're doing this evening. And we're just going to take a moment to do a quick clearing, because I think Dawn started off the week by saying the title was Venus Breaking Dishes and Mercury Telling Secrets. So we've all had a lot of shocks and surprises and things coming out of nowhere. And if you have experienced those, you know, you're like one of us. And there's Wendy. Hey, Wendy, welcome in. All right. So if everyone can just close their eyes. And if you can take a moment just to relax into your body. We're going to take a few nice deep cleansing breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose again, and out through the mouth. As you settle into your body, feel the support of the earth beneath you. And imagine roots growing from the base of your spine or your feet, digging deep into the soil of our planet. Sense the grounding of Mother Earth, her stability, her nourishing energy, rising through those roots, up into your body, anchoring you into the here and now. We've asked Archangel Michael to be here for strength, for protection, and for truth. As we stand in our truth of who we are as souls with a divine mission and purpose. Imagine Archangel Michael sending this beautiful, warm, white, inviting light that gently comes down to the crown of our head in this swirling, beautiful energy all the way down through the chakras, as it makes its way down all the way through our bodies and connects that energy again with Mother Earth. As the light completes its descent, imagine it connecting deep into the crystalline core of the earth now. Here it transforms any released energy into love, grounding, and renewal. Feel this beautiful energy fill your heart. Feel the renewed energy rise back up through your chakras, filling you with peace, filling you with clarity, filling you with purpose. Now see a brilliant arch of sapphire light above your head. In this light, you see Archangel Michael, radiant with strength, truth, and divine protection. Invite him to surround you in his shield of truth and clarity. Let's put our hands on our heart, and you can say silently or out loud, Archangel Michael, please surround me in your shield of truth and light. Protect me from fear-based reactions, distortions, mistruths. Grant me discernment to perceive the truth clearly, compassion to respond with grace, and strength to stand in my integrity. Help me into Mother Earth's support and anchor these energies, meeting any shock or surprises that come with wisdom, calmness, and groundedness. Breathe and feel Archangel Michael's energy encircling you, strong and steady and luminous. Bring your attention back to your roots, extending deep into the earth. Feel her steady heartbeat and grounding rhythm. And say, as you take a deep breath with the exhale, I release what no longer serves me. I stand in truth, guided and protected. I am grounded in love. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes, and when you're ready, open your eyes, refreshed, clear, and centered in this present moment. And over to Dawn.
Okay. Interestingly, here, I'll just move this over. Hi. Okay, I've already seen some messages in the live stream stuff. It has been a week already, right? And I had done that reading about breaking dishes and truth's coming out, and we haven't even begun to see everything that's going to be happening yet, because we still have this huge energy that's going to be happening for us next week. Really, it's hitting everybody's charts. And what we think right now that we should be doing is Jupiter just went retrograde. That's probably affecting a lot of us. It's like, oh, well, Jupiter, what is Jupiter about? Well, justice. And it stopping and then going retrograde. Yeah, everybody, I think, feels this and has had events happen to them. And if you haven't, your turn is coming. And this is why we are saying, with this astrology coming up, some things are meant to break down. You shouldn't give up, though. I mean, if you're headed on a path and Mercury is retrograde, so that's paperwork, that's things like that happening, things that like that are breaking down. If you have any recourse, keep working at it, and eventually that will change for you. We do have Mercury in retrograde until the end of November. There's huge energy at the end of November. I'm not saying this to scare people. I'm just telling you that people's lives are changing in big ways. And then us being able to ground ourselves, rely on our friends, rely on our community, rely on each other to say, you know what, this is something that is unexpected because Uranus is playing a big part in this. And I just have to be aware that whatever's happening is eventually going to show that it was for my greatest and highest good. Because I truly believe that. We have on the day of the new moon, Venus, one of the energies of benefic. It helps especially those born at night. Jupiter, that helps those especially born during the day. Jupiter's in a grand water trine, but it's retrograde. Venus is actually going to be trine the North Node. Where are you headed? Right? So basically, anybody that has a chart will have a ruler of that chart. So if your ascendant is Libra, it's Venus. If it's Taurus, it's Venus. If it's Mercury, it rules Gemini and Virgo. So everything is getting touched in this chart coming up, and it's a time to set new intentions for what we want moving forward and keep that flow of the water trine flowing, with the idea that we have to turn off the overwhelm part of it, because I think that's part of the things that we have to watch out for. Is with water, that can be very emotional and that can turn to overwhelm. And what we need to do is reframe that in our minds as to what we are setting our intentions for in Scorpio, that is basically really, really changing us and what we want that to be. So to me, I'm very excited. We're in the astrology of a lifetime of many millennia, because we haven't had the things that are going on that will be going on. They haven't happened. The Aries connection at 0 degrees hasn't happened since like 5000 BC. So we have a lot of things coming in, but things are going to change. And the best thing that we can do is be accepting of the change and know that there's different things that are going to be happening in the future. Do I think that we're going to have some rough territory? Yeah. But I'm not afraid of it in the least bit whatsoever. And I hope that you understand that I know that what is coming is allowing us to create something completely different. Don't we all complain about patriarchy? That's one of the things that's leaving. Sedna is helping with that. So I think that we are balancing out. This is part of the balancing out of feminine and masculine within each of us, right? And we have to be accepting that there's a change that's coming, because how did somebody put it? I think the Hopi said that if you're in the middle of the river, don't try and hang on to the sides. Just let it go and allow yourself to move forward. And I think Rick Levine said, if you pick your head up and look around you, that's your new tribe. So that is how he explained it, is just like, you can't be hanging on to the sides, because then you're just going to get nothing but battered. You have to release it. So that's what I wanted to say, because I know people are having a week. And that some relationships are changing. They're meant to change. You're going to find somebody better, honestly. So, but you have to allow yourself space and time to be yourself. Things are going to you're going to have a whole mind shift about what's going on, and be accepting of that. I think that's the biggest thing that we really want to say to everybody is, we do know that there's change. This has been a crazy energy that's going on, and it's going to get crazier, but it's super cool because we're all supported on this new moon. One of the things I will say is Uranus will be at 2929 and Neptune will be at 2929. Those both add to 1111. 1111. We have divine protection. It's just like, yeah, I know it's going to be a mess. It's going to be fine. That's what I get. It's going to be a mess, but it's going to be fine. That's the energy that I'm getting. And the astrology is saying exactly that.
A necessary mess. Yeah.
Yeah, a necessary mess. Thank you. That's exactly right. A necessary mess. I hope you do a reading just specifically on that. It's a necessary mess. And I kept thinking, and Venus is in Scorpio right now. Venus is in Scorpio and does whatever she wants. And when that includes breaking dishes, that is such a perfect energy of her in that moment. So what I will do is we'll go ahead and start doing a reading for the collective. And it's what do we need to clear? We're going to be setting these new intentions next week. I will do some astrology just on what this new moon is telling us. But it's it's extremely powerful. It affects everyone. And we can really use it to our benefit by setting intentions. Do not let your planets run amok in your chart. Set intentions for them. It's very important. So with that, our question, I think, for the night is, what do we need to clear? And I had, oddly enough, I had chosen the Oracle of the Seven Energies, and it is quieting the mind is the card that came out, and it's perfect. So this is a 32 card, adds to a 5, change, hello. Life is chaotic, busy, loud, frenetic, and overwhelming. Some days all that noise is like the roar of thunder echoing around you, and it feels as if you're being pummeled by a rainstorm. Isn't this why we take vacations? To get away to somewhere peaceful? In spite of the surrounding din of the world, today you need to slow down and find a bit of peace. So go ahead and take a deep breath right now. Make a commitment to be still, if only for 5 minutes. Count your breaths and be mindful of every one of them. Know that you have all the time in the world to do the things that need doing. Everything is perfect as it is. So, really telling us that it is pretty loud out right now. And we can take the time to just periodically throughout our day, stop, quiet the mind. If you have a hard time doing that, light a candle, do some candle gazing, put on a song that you love and dance. It's my favorite thing to do. And change your emotional level to a higher one. Don't let yourself get caught up in this swirl of emotion. Step back into that observer mode. It's a protection of itself. So with that, I will go ahead and move this on to Ron.
Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate it very much, and glad to see everybody. I pull a rune from the Book of Runes by Ralph Bloom. I've mentioned this every time. It was all channeled material, and I think this rune is a wonderful rune for what I have to tell you. The rune that came up is partnership, okay? It's called Gibo, right? And drawing this rune is an indication that partnership in some form is at hand. In love relationships, in business matters, in partnering of every kind, you are put on notice not to collapse yourself into that union. For a true partnership is achieved only by separate and whole beings who retain their separateness even as they unite. Remember to let the winds of heaven dance between you. At the same time, there's another aspect of partnership that you are being called to consider. And this is where I'm going to ask you to level up, get out of your human thought, okay? For the path of partnership can lead you to the realization of still a greater union, the union with the higher self, union with the divine. That's where you need to go. Don't worry about the small stuff, okay? The ultimate gift of this rune is the realization of the divine in all things. Remember, you don't really exist, okay? God always enters into equal partnerships. Gibo, the rune of partnership, has no reverse, for it signifies the gift of freedom, which flows from all other gifts. So again, lift yourself up, level up, know that this is all a movie, all a dream, all this stuff that's going on. You signed up for it. It's just fun. Okay. And with that, I get to pass it on to Cherie.
Hey. All right. Thank you, guys. And I'm so glad to be here as well and to be with my fellow co-host. We have such a great time, and you guys don't see us when we're off camera beforehand, but when we start pulling cards and do things, we never tell each other what we're pulling, and the energies are so aligned. I pulled from the Love of Dragons, and I love this oracle deck. And it's interesting because I pulled the card, the Wild Child. And normally what this means is kind of like, let your inner lion roar, but don't be stymied or held back but by what other people expect us to do or to believe. And part of what I think we have to clear is this old version of who our families told us we were. And I had a reading with someone yesterday where her family, and this has happened in many lifetimes, put her in a box of obligation, of taking care of everyone else to the exception of self. And so if you have been in a story where your family or the people around you have put you in a box of either duty or obligation, of a belief system, or living in such a way that doesn't serve you, it serves them, I think this card is saying we have to clear that old story in order to come into the wildness of the child, the wildness of learning and experimenting and being the observer and being curious. And that's really hard to do with all this energy kind of flying around the world. And it says, never let the tame ones tell you how to live. Your inner wild is always calling you back to remember who you were before the world told you who you should be. Just as a dragon never apologizes for its fire, you should never apologize for the wild child that roams within the heart. So this message is for someone out there that needs to hear it's okay to stand in your truth. You don't need to be in a box anymore. And that is the blockage. And so surrender to this wild child and this childlike energy of discovery is really the enabler that helps us set the intentions in this new moon to manifest who we truly are becoming. And it's a beautiful energy, but it takes some work to release and let that go. And with that, I'll turn it over to Wendy.
Whoop. Okay. So I pulled a card from the Cosmic Journey Oracle, and I had to laugh because I got the Galactic Grandmother. And you're going to love this. All right. So it says attributes are Mother Nature, wisdom, stern but loving grandparent. So the Galactic Grandmother is providing you her blessing of love and joy. She wants only what is best for you, but she will smack you over the head and set you straight if you veered off. She's a stern but lovable bubby, and your Galactic Grandmother isn't afraid to call you out on your BS. That's the part I love about it. It says grandmother is the essence of Mother Earth, Mother Nature. So come sit for a bit of cake and tea. She's here to share with you the timeless wisdom of stories, values, and guidance passed down from the ages. So really needing to clear out any kind of, BS that you're telling yourself. So, it's really time to stop telling yourself these stories and to just really, look at the truth in the heart of things and be honest with yourself. You got to start being honest with yourself first before you can really be honest with everyone else in your life that you need to be having these honest conversations with, so that you can clear out all that BS and crap that's kind of clouding everything, right? So listen to your Bubba. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pass this back to Dawn. We're going to start with private readings.
She's on mute.
Unmute.
Tag, you're it. Okay. So, well, Ron will be reading for Deborah Pecan next. So just so Ron is aware of that. And I have to say, Wendy, my grandmother was like really loud at that moment because my grandmother was born with her sun and Pluto conjunct, and she would say stuff, and her expressions were priceless. I'll have to tell sometimes in the future. But as she said it, she was not a milk toast, which apparently back in the day was like, yeah, kind of a wild woman. So I am going to read today for Michelle Pontbriand. I hope I said that correctly. I think she's been here before, but it's been a long, long time. So we're happy to welcome her back. And I felt like I had to read For the Love of Dragons. So this is the same deck that I'm using, but it's a different message. And I think I did the right thing because this is a 29 card and there's so many things at 29. So it adds to 11. So I think this is for more than just for you, Michelle. It's specifically for you, but I think everybody's going to get a message from this. So dragons have scales to protect their molten core. You can think of their warmth as compassion and their scales as accountability. Between those two opposing forces, you access your power. Compassionate awareness is being called for in this moment, but not without accountability. Do you need to hold yourself or someone else accountable right now? What needs to be called out, owned, embodied? Compassion keeps you warm and approachable, but it's accountability that keeps you fierce, protected, and holds your boundaries sacred. Use both in this situation. Yes, you can be compassionate, and I know that you are very compassionate. You would be one of those people that I would say, oh, that whole Gemini, Libra, Cancer energy of giving, giving, giving. But you need boundaries. You need those good dragon scales to say, you know what? I had a problem with that. And I'm going to say something. Again, Venus breaking dishes, right? Venus breaking dishes. Not coming home till 3 a.m. I'm saying something. That's not acceptable. And that is your truth. So feel like you have the right to be respected. You have the right to set your own boundaries. And I don't think that there's a question that you're compassionate, but I think other people need to know that you've got those scales on too. And I hope that you are going to do some roaring and do a dragon bite occasionally, because sometimes subtle does not work for certain people. So that's what I would say, is that use the dragon energy and don't be subtle about it. With that, we'll go on to Ron.
Thank you, Dawn. Appreciate it. And I get to pull for Deborah. And Deborah, it's good to do that for you. We've talked before, so I'm looking forward to this. I hope this will be meaningful for you. What I pulled was the rune of possessions and nourishment. Unfortunately, or on the downside, I pulled it in a reverse position. So I'll read the first paragraph of the positive, then tell you what the reverse position means. So the possessions, which is called Fehu, F-E-H-U, is a rune of fulfillment, ambition satisfied, love shared, rewards received. It promises nourishment from the most worldly to the sacred and the divine. For if the ancient principle, as above, so below, holds true, then we are here to nourish God. On the reverse side, and again, this is hopefully answering the questions you put in the chat box, there may be considerable frustration in your life if you draw this rune. A wide range of dispositions ranging from trivial to severe. You fall short on your efforts. You reach out and miss. You are compelled to stand by and watch helplessly while what you've gained dwindles away. Observe what is happening. Examine these events from an open perspective and ask, what do I need to learn from this in my life? Even if there is an occasion for joy, do not let yourself be seduced into mindless joyousness. Reversed, this rune indicates that doubtful situations are abundant and come in many forms and guises. Here you are being put in touch with the shadow side of possessions. Yet all of this is part of coming out to be and passing away, and not that which abides. In dealing with the shadow side of this rune, you have an opportunity to recognize where your true nourishment lies. And as we've talked before, like I said, this is all a movie. This is all a dream, all a game. So take these challenges, absorb them, smile at them, and just keep on moving. Remember who you really are. You're the divine source of all that is. And now I'm moving on to Cherie.
Well, I don't know that I can follow that, Ron. That was very beautiful. It kind of says it all. I'm reading this evening for Shirley. Hi, Shirley. Good to see you again. And it's funny, Dawn and I've used the same two decks for the Love of Dragons and the Oracle of the Seven Energies without telling each other. So I got a really beautiful card for you tonight, Shirley, and I think this will resonate for you. And hopefully it's a message for all of us. And this is called Shining Through. And it's a 30. It's a master number. And again, it symbolizes maturity, readiness for leadership, and the start of some sort of service to others. And I know, Shirley, you've been really accelerating your spiritual journey. And it says, this is about self-expression without filters or masks, authentic communication, being proud of who you are, shining in the world, and refusing to make yourself small just to belong. I'm going to say that again. Refusing to make yourself small just to belong. And I think, Dawn, you said we've been doing a lot of get along, go along to get along. And we can no longer do that. So Shirley, it says you're being called to step up into your true power and essence. And we all are. This is one of those times when you're required to bring everything that you are, all that you have learned, experienced, and integrated, and offer it up in service to the world. When you take center stage, which I know you're not comfortable with, you will be noticed. Yes, as your light shines brightly, you will naturally stand apart from others. This idea might bring up excitement and pride, but at the same time, it could bring discomfort. But now is not the time to make yourself small to avoid the glare of the spotlight. It takes courage, but know that this is the right thing for you today, and you have come so far. You have stayed in the back of the room in learning and gathering mode for some time, and this time has served its purpose. You must now step into a new consciousness, seizing a new opportunity to share your wisdom. You can't make this up. You will be like the lighthouse, shining through the dark, illuminating the way for others. Sorry, Shirley, you just can't make this up. And it just says, it's just time to be the lighthouse and just to say, hey, I'm stepping up in, yeah, I might be uncomfortable, but you got this, girl. And anyone who's feeling the call to step into your power, listen to that voice and shine through, because it is time, ladies and gentlemen. All right. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Wendy.
All right. I am pulling a card for Willow. Hello, Willow. So I pulled from the Oracle of the Fairies. And you got manifestation. So be very honest and clear about what you wish to manifest in your life. Now write it down on paper. Manifestation step 1. So I think part of that grandma message was for you as well, as you asked to do this in honesty and be very clear about what you wish to manifest. So one of the simplest manifestation techniques is to write down what you want to manifest, whether it's an idea, a wish, or a dream. Be honest with yourself and very clear about what it is you wish to happen. Once it exists on the paper, it exists in the physical world. Can it really be that simple? In a word, yes. Another great way to do this is to say, I wish to manifest whatever your idea, wish, or dream is, or something better in my life. So next, think of practical steps that you can take to start the process of bringing your idea into the world. Always remembering that your plan must respect the free will of others. Intention is key here, for it's in our intent that directs the flow of energy in our life, like a magnet. Always, with anything that you're doing, intent is like the blueprint, okay? It's the manuscript. It's telling the energy what it is that you really want to do. And you really need to focus on it and think about it and concentrate, because if you are actually saying one thing but thinking a different thing, you're not going to get the result you think you will. Okay? So stay fully focused and allow the fairy of manifestation to guide you during this magical exercise. Try to do one thing every day towards manifesting your idea, wish, or dream, and trust in the process. Be sure to keep a lookout for any fairy signs that may appear along the way and follow their advice. This way, you're allowing the divine universal intelligence to help you manifest in the best way for achieving the highest good of all. Because you know how we're always telling you guys, if you want help, you need to ask for it, right? That's even from your guides, what have you. If you want something, if you're wanting to manifest something, you have to ask for it. And you also, you're making a plan in the physical world to try and meet those goals, but the universe is also, it's doing its work behind the scenes that you don't see. And so, yeah, it's going to send you these like little messages. And so you want to really pay attention to that. If you get a hit, if you feel like, something is speaking to you, trust it. That's exactly what it is. And they will be subtle. So oftentimes we tend to second guess or just kind of say, oh, it was probably nothing. No, it was something. So pay attention. All right. Hope that resonates for you, Willow. And we're going to go ahead and go back over to Dawn.
I remembered to click. So I feel like I'm in a game show and that they're just waiting for me to start saying something. And then it's like, bzz, the buzzer goes off and they're like, Dawn, you forgot. And I'm sure I'll do that plenty more, But I wanted to say that Ron will be reading for MC coming after me. And I am going to be reading for Morgan because I felt really, really, really called to read for her. So I'm going to follow that image. And I felt like I got to stick with the dragons because I'm like Venus breaking dishes. And I feel like I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Come on. So this is the card that came out for you. Again, the shadow. If you carry a big light, you're going to cast a huge shadow, and you must own both. Endeavor in this moment to understand what shadow elements are at work. Be diligent not to project onto others your own fears, inadequacies, or resentments. And I'm going to say, because straight to my mind came a message, and don't let other people broadcast on you their shadows, their inadequacies, their fears, or their resentments. It goes both ways. This is your opportunity not to abandon any part of yourself, including your own darkness. Own it. Own it. Own all of it. Take responsibility for your shadows and the limitations you've put on yourself. Accountability is part of true power, as any dragon knows. So, Morgan, break a few dishes. Make yourself heard. When someone hears crashing china, they tend to stop and just kind of go, "What? Oops," and then they back off. So sometimes it doesn't hurt to get a little loud. What does it hurt? Just like you can be a dragon in a china shop. Think of it that way. You're a dragon in a china shop. So I will let that move on to Ron.
Thank you, Dawn. That was good. I appreciated that. Okay, so MC, I get to read for you. And the rune that I pulled is breakthrough or transformation. This is the rune. And what it says is, here is the final rune belonging to the cycle of initiation. Drawing this rune often signals a major shift or breakthrough in the process of self-change, a complete transformation in attitude, a 180-degree turn. For some, the transition is so radical that they are no longer able to live the ordinary life in the ordinary way. Because the timing is right, the outcome is assured, although not from the present vantage point. Predictable. In each life comes at least one moment which, if recognized and seized, transforms the course of that life forever. Rely, therefore, on radical trust, even though the moment may call for you to keep empty-handed into the void, to leap empty-handed into void. With this rune, your warrior nature reveals itself. Remember, runes are for spiritual warriors. If this rune is followed by the blank rune, the magnitude of the transformation might be so great as to portend a death, the successful conclusion to your passage. A major period of achievement and prosperity is often introduced by this rune. The darkness is behind you, daylight has come. Nevertheless, you are reminded not to collapse yourself into thoughts for the future or behave recklessly in your new situation. Considerable hard work can be involved in a time for transformation. Undertake to do it joyfully. And it's the same message for all you spiritual warriors. Leap up, level up. You can handle anything. So this sounds like a good positive rune for you. I hope it resonates. And now I'm moving on to Cherie.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Ron. And I am reading for Gypsy Vixen this evening. And I pulled from the All-Seeing Heart Oracle deck, which is a new one for me. And Gypsy, this is a really specific card. And this is about regeneration. If you look very closely, it's got the eye and the third eye, and you can see all these snakes, these serpents coming out around the three eyes there, and the serpent at the top. This is called a regeneration, and it says, tap into your serpent aspect of Kundalini energy. So you may be having some sort of Kundalini awakening to release any fears of dramatic change and dissolve karmic fears. So they said this card represents a window into an ancient world in the form of the mythological serpent races. It is said that the ancient kings and queens sprung from this invincible non-earth species, and over time they merged with humanity. The remains of this human and serpent mingling together remains in our Kundalini energy, a subtle dormant vibration of potential that lies in our root or sacral chakra. This connection might be experienced for you as an extrasensory perception or strong feelings of connection to the stars, maybe a starseed feeling, and places beyond the earth plane. If you are troubled by change, then meditate on this card to help stimulate your serpent aspect and help you release any fears. This can also help you dissolve any karmic fears relating to visitors or memories, dealing with the emergence of an advanced civilization armed with answers, inspiration, and glamour. I would love to do your Akashic records because I've been doing a lot of readings where people coming from different star systems in Atlantis and, the Pleiades and Syrian energy. So you've got something really specific that may be coming or that you are going to experience here very soon, Gypsy Vixen. So be open to it and know that it is really calling you to remember who you are as a soul and to release any fears of change, because you will master the change and you will be A-okay. And with that, I will turn it over to Wendy.
Ooh, okay, I'm juggling all these things behind the scenes here. All right. So I pulled a card for Venus, and I'm going to try and pull up your little heart here. Yep, there we go. Okay. So this is from the Enchanted Map Oracle, and I have actually never pulled this card before, so this is pretty awesome. So you got Wizard of Awareness, And this is so funny. Ron, it makes me think of you if you had really long hair. Says, your soul knows best to be still and observe. Mindfulness is about being observant and remaining neutral about what goes on in the world around you. This applies to the environment within you too. Love that. If you struggle inside yourself, stepping into an observer position gives you a new, powerful perspective that neutralizes any discomfort or overexcitement. You have the capacity to see things clearly now, unencumbered by opinion or desire. Wearing the world as a loose garment requires you to adopt a sense that nothing that happens to you is personal. People come and go, experiences evolve from one state to another in a continual shifting and change, no matter how much you want things to stay the same. The Wizard of Awareness asks you to give up your need to define or limit what you're experiencing now. It's all good. Let it be and watch the miracle unfold without any direct influence from you. Man, Ron, it is so you. That is so funny. So that is awesome. Just really, kind of dive into that message. Experience it. Enjoy it, savor it, all of these things that happen to us, good, bad, and otherwise, and the weird and everything else, it's all this like patchwork of art, and this, it's putting all of these things together. And here we go with the lighthouse and the threads and everything again, right? This tapestry that we're building, but it really is, all these little things that come together, all these experiences that we have. That's the beauty of this experience in this life. And even the difficult things, the tragedies and so on, the things that we can't explain, just being able to feel and really live and be in these emotions, and to kind of travel through that experience, right? That's what it's all about. So embrace it. Love it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move back over to Dawn.
Hello. So I just want to say that Ron will be reading for Anna next. And I am going to be reading for Sally. And I'm still going to go with For the Love of Dragons, because I feel we all really need it, basically. So let's see. Here we go. This is the brave. The brave among us understand the need to occupy the edges of things, away from comfort and security. To be brave, you must be willing to go to the edge of your knowing and make yourself comfortable in the uncomfortable. When we take that risk, we learn to trust our boldness, and we get expansive views of an original perspective, not possible from the center of the village, inside the confines of a familiar life. And to me, this very much speaks of the energy of, number one, the hanged man, looking at things from a different perspective. And one of the themes we had at one time was everything that you want is on the other side of fear. So I think people need to be aware that that the most extraordinary things in your life will come from walking past that fear door and into something different. The other thing this card reminds me of is the Fool. They go to the edge of that cliff and they are getting ready to walk off. And what kind of bravery does that take? And so I really hope that we are going to be there for each other in that sense. I feel like, how do you say that? It's a flight of dragons. That's what more than one dragon is. It's called a flight of dragons. So I want us to be aware that, we have a dragon inside of each one of us. It makes us an individual. We need to have our good boundaries. We need to be willing to be uncomfortable. And I think that is like the biggest message I get moving forward is that, guess what? Get used to being uncomfortable because you're going to be there a lot. You're going to be there a lot. It's like, what? Okay, here we go. So I think that's the energy that I'm getting for you, Sally. And you don't have to, she's got a friend, you don't have to do it by yourself. That's at least the fun part of this, is that we don't have to do it by ourselves. It's a flight of dragons. So with that, I will go ahead and turn this over to Ron.
Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate it. And Anna, I pulled a rune for you, and this rune is Signals, a messenger rune, the god Loki, L-O-K-I. The keynote here is receiving messages, signals, and gifts. Even a timely warning may be seen as a gift. The message may be that of a new life unfolding. New lives begin with new connections, surprising linkages that direct you onto new pathways. Take care now to be especially aware during meetings, visits, chance encounters, particularly with persons wiser than yourself. Not that there are any, but anyway, when the messenger runes brings sacred knowledge, you are truly blessed. Loki is the ancient trickster from the pantheon of the Norse gods. He is a, sorry, I don't understand the word here, of the Native Americans, a mocking shadow of the creator God, as well as a bringer of benefits to humankind. He is a reminder that even scoundrels and arch thieves can be bearers of wisdom. When you draw this rune, expect the unexpected. The message is always a call to a new life. This rune is the first of the 13 runes that make up the cycle of initiation, runes that focus directly upon the mechanism of self-change, and as such addresses your need to integrate unconscious motive with conscious intent. This is the key paragraph coming up here now, Anna. So drawing this rune tells you that connection with the divine is at hand. You could leap up and down for that, all right? It is a signal to explore the depths of the foundations of life and to experience the inexhaustible wellspring of the divine in your nature. At the same time, you're reminded that you must first draw from the well to nourish and give to yourself. Then there will be more than enough to nourish others. A new sense of family, solidarity, invests this rune. That is a really positive one, Anna, and I hope it resonated with you. Remember the divine, always. And I'm passing it on to Cherie. And she's on mute.
Well, you know what? Dawn did such a great job of setting the pace. I couldn't help myself. Okay. I'm going to read for Girl Gone, and we're delighted that you joined us this evening. And I went back to the All-Seeing Heart, and Gypsy, you're right. This is a really great deck. And I pulled a very specific card for you. And this is the doorway to sacred union. And you can see there's a door and a big staircase, and this is in the shape of a heart. It's quite a beautiful rendition. And this is heightened states of awareness, inspiration, and bliss can be reached by working with this card's energy. This card holds the instructable energy of Shiva and Shakti, masculine and feminine of the divine union of consciousness and energy. Their movement is interdependent. One cannot exist without the other. So there's a message. It could be twofold. And I think this is a message for all of us. Right now, we're seeing the rise of the divine feminine, but we're also seeing this nice balancing within each of us, divine masculine and divine feminine energies, in integrating those more consistently and holistically in our souls. So you may be going through, Girl Gone, this integration of these beautiful Shiva and Shakti energies and balancing your divine masculine and feminine, but it can also be a doorway that paves the way for another relationship that could be coming in. Now, it says this union is a fertility or a temple of fertility in a regenerative frequency that the soul craves. It relates to life-affirming position and our need for intimacy with the primal forces of creation. It speaks to polarity, and it calls for vision beyond the intertwining energies of the birth and death tunnels. This may represent for you a pilgrimage path or a period of solitude where your inner growth is possible. Shiva and Shakti represent the divine channeling of energy, a dance of unity where the soul's potential is realized. So this is a beautiful card, Girl Gone, in balancing the two energies within self. And they say, unless we have love of self and we're balanced, we can't be a good partner for someone else. So for all of us, balancing the divine masculine and feminine energies is really important right now, but focusing on love of self. That's the highest form of love that we can have. And it's not being selfish. It's around that expression that says, I care enough about myself to take good care of me, because we only have one copy of each of you. So please take that as a strong message. But again, for you, Girl Gone, doorway to sacred union, and it's an opportunity for you coming. And I can't wait to hear what happens with this beautiful intertwining of these energies. And with that, we're going to close out for the evening. We are so grateful. And just as a reminder, we will be back together next week live, a week from today, on our live on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've been putting out daily videos. We've made some announcement on some classes. We did one yesterday on the Akashic Records training that's coming up in January. I know Dawn's got a current class that's being offered. Wendy is going to be teaching a tarot class. So we've got all sorts of exciting things for you to look at. And if you go to lighthousetapestry.com, you can find all of our classes that are coming up. And Ruby, Denise, and Morgan are doing a series on empowerment as well. So we hope you will continue to support, subscribe, like, and share with friends and colleagues as we build this beautiful community. We will let you go. Rest well for the weekend. Have a beautiful rest of the week. Put your helmet on. Get your sword from Archangel Michael. Protect your energy and stand in your truth. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.